On today's show, the LA Clippers continued to roll, and I'm going to tell you how James Harden and Kawhi Leonard took over the game and are looking unstoppable right about now. Going to be talking about it all on today's Locked On Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yes, sir. You are locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team every day. I'm your host, Darian Vaziri, born and raised in LA. Been a Clipper fan for 21 years. Been covering the team on my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for 6, and 4 right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know every single time we post a video on the road to 8,000 subscribers before the end of January. This episode is also brought to you by Game Time, the best place to get great deals last minute on tickets. Just download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. All right, ladies and gentlemen, sorry for the late release. I had 2 games yesterday, and so I had to miss the Clipper game. My 8th graders got revenge from the team that we lost to the day of the fires, so I'm one of the best wins I've ever gotten as a coach at any level, so I'm very happy about that. It was worth missing the game. So I was just so tired when I got home. I fell asleep at halftime, and so I had to finish the game this morning. So Clippers beating the Charlotte Hornets. We've now won 10 out of our last 12 games. I'm going to be talking about James Harden and Kawhi Leonard and the 67 points that they combined for, and then the rest of the crew, and a standout fourth quarter performance by one of our very own, Jordan Miller. So this game was a game that you would think, oh, maybe this could be a trap game. You know, coming back from a 3-game road trip, you've beaten a team like the Pistons, of course, shorthanded, and then you beat the Brooklyn Nets. You're playing really good basketball. You've won 9 out of your last 11 games. Let's make it 10 out of our last 12 games. And that's exactly what we did. Beating the Charlotte Hornets 117-109 to sweep them in the season series. We are now over 500 at Intuit Dome at 10-9 on the season. I have missed 6 games now, and I'll be there on Wednesday. And we are now 16-23 on the season. Of course, this is after starting the season 6-21. Now, we got to talk about how it happened, this was a harder game than I expected it to be. You know, in the first half, we could not hit the broadside of a barn, and the Hornets couldn't really either. However, the Hornets aren't very good. And we obviously haven't been very good this season, but we know that we're better than what our record suggests. And we've been playing good basketball of late, some of the best of any team in the NBA. And at halftime, we were only up by 2 points, 45-43, because we were shooting 33% from the field and 26% from 3. Now, the one thing that we were doing very well was taking care of the basketball. We only turned the ball over 4 times in the first half. And the Charlotte Hornets, they did shoot better than us from the field in the first half, 39%, but they shot just 17% from 3. LaMelo Ball, Josh Green, Con Knuppel, and Miles Bridges and Trey Mann together in the first half, they combined to shoot 0 for 14 from 3-point range. 0 for 14. So they weren't shooting well either. And in the third quarter, Kawhi Leonard turned on aimbot mode, which is when he makes every single shot known to man from wherever he is on the floor. Coming off a screen with the defense in drop coverage, popping it, hitting it. Contested 3 off the catch. How about a contested mid-range just off the off the jab step? He was hitting contested jump after contested jumper. He had 19 points in 6.5 minutes to begin the third quarter. 19 points in 6.5 minutes. It was quite the display. And then James Harden taking over as well. Getting downhill a lot. I mean, I will not lie. Last year and this year, he's getting downhill better than he did even in his first year with us. I know there's obviously more frequency in it because we don't have Paul George and he doesn't have that mouth to feed anymore. But it's amazing how these last 2 years, it feels like he hasn't gotten any slower at all. He's still moving really well. He's still blowing past some of the youngest players on teams. So, between those two, they just kind of showed, hey, we're the best players on the floor and we play on the same team. So we're going to take over this game. And that's exactly why we won, in my opinion. Now, the third quarter run, though, wasn't what put us, over the hump. Kawhi Leonard went crazy, but the Hornets weren't going away. They actually matched us in the third quarter, 41-41. So we obviously know why we went off. Kawhi had 19 in the quarter and Harden had 11. So together they combined for 30 points in the quarter. But Charlotte, they went 68% from the field in the quarter and 56% from downtown. So why was that? So I watched the defensive possessions that we got scored on again in that third quarter, because the other quarters I thought we were pretty solid defensively. I counted 9 points that were scored because Nico Batum either got scored on, got blown by, or didn't rotate, which is very rare that he would have that many points that you could put to him, or you could credit to him being at fault. And then despite his 4 steals, James Harden was guarding Brandon Miller. I don't know why that Ty Lue had him on Brandon Miller from the beginning of the game, by the way. They had Kawhi Leonard on Kanoupal, so I guess they just didn't want James Harden chasing Kanoupal around. And then obviously Kris Dunn is guarding LaMelo Ball, and you have Zoo guarding our good old friend Moussa Diabate, who looks solid, by the way. He looks like it looks like he has a place in the NBA. I just don't know if he has a place in a rotation on a good team. That's what I'm wondering. Because right now he's a backup for the Hornets, and he's had a career high in double-doubles, and he had a double-double in this game. But, the Hornets are 14-26, which is not actually that horrific. So he had 13, 15, 4, and 1 steal and 4 blocks. He effectively outplayed any of our centers, including Zubac, who I'll talk about later. But James Harden was at fault for 11 points in that third quarter, where he was just getting blown by Brandon Miller or LaMelo Ball. But he had some nice steals. At the end of the day, we still did enough to win. And in the fourth quarter, James Harden comes right back in with the score 102-100, because we actually were down 100-99. And then we go on a 13-1 run, led by Jordan Miller, who hit 2 threes, one to beat the shot clock buzzer, and he had a dunk. But James Harden comes in when it's 102-100 and immediately hits 2 threes. And that, for me, propelled us to win this game and pull away. So we win it 117-109. Kawhi Leonard and James Harden showed that they were the 2 best players in the court. They combined for 67 points. Kawhi Leonard had 35. He has now had 22 consecutive games with 20 or more points, which is an amazing stretch. He had 35 points to go along with 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 turnover. He shot 11 for 19 from the field, 5 for 9 from distance, and 8 for 9 from the foul line. He has been so good lately. It's been the biggest reason why we've been playing really good basketball of late. 35 points in 31 minutes on incredibly efficient shooting. I mean, that's Kawhi Leonard and the way he's playing right now. And of course, as I mentioned, 19 of those 35 points came in the third quarter. And then James Harden, another really solid game, 32 points, 4 rebounds, 10 assists, 4 steals. So very active hands that led to some transition basketball. He only turned the ball over 1 time, which I think is the best statistic of all of them for him in yesterday's game. 1 turnover for James Harden. That's how you know that something good is going to happen for us. We outscored the Hornets 31-25 in the fourth. James, as I mentioned, finished with 32, 4, and 10 and 4 steals on 11 for 28 shooting. Did not shoot super well from 3 for 11 from downtown, but he was 7 for 8 from the free throw line, and we just won off the backs of those 2 guys. And I want to say a huge congratulations to James Harden for passing the great Shaquille O'Neal in points all time for in 9th place. Moves Shaq down to 10th. It is no small feat to be one of the 10 best scorers point total wise in the history of the NBA. And James Harden is one of the only players just averaged 35 plus points in a season. The only other ones being Wilt Chamberlain, Kobe Bryant, and Michael Jordan, who are all above him on the scoring list. So it's very fitting for James Harden to start making his way in that top 10 and now ninth. An incredible achievement for him. Shaquille O'Neal is one of the greatest players to ever walk this earth, and James Harden is as well, just not as high. And I don't know if he'd tell you that, but obviously we know James Harden's not better than Shaq, but it's an amazing, he might be a better scorer depending on how you look at it. And it's an amazing accomplishment, and he did it in a Clipper uniform, and that's really cool to see. So James Harden, Kawhi Leonard showed their dominance in that second half. We win at 117-109 and move on to 16-23, and have won 10 out of our last 12 games. Coming up, going to talk about the supporting cast. How did they do? Going to be talking about that coming up. I got to tell you a little something about Game Time. Game Time is the best place to get great deals last minute on tickets. During basketball season, there's nothing like being in the building. The energy, the crowd, that first big run that gets everyone on their feet. Fans want to be there for those moments, not stuck refreshing screens or guessing what tickets are really going to cost. That's where Game Time comes in. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage back, making it incredibly easy to score amazing tickets, fast, simple, and without the guesswork. Browsing the Game Time app is straightforward and intuitive. Finding tickets takes just a few taps. I got tickets for the NLCS Game 1 in 2024 from Game Time, and I got a solid deal last minute. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. That's LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today and get in on the action. I got to tell you a little something about ZocDoc. Guys, it's 2026, and those days of waiting for something to become a full-blown emergency before you see a doctor, they're over with. No more walking it off for 6 months or pretending like it's strayed. Like, there was one time I've had an injured pinky off of a pass that I deflected for 6 months at least now, and I've never checked it out. It's time to take your health seriously, and ZocDoc makes that easier than ever. Because staying healthy is more than hitting the gym or eating right. It's about actually getting things checked out when something feels off. Using ZocDoc makes scheduling easier. Search for in-network doctors and book right in the app. And real appointment times are listed, including same-day visits. No more back-and-forth phone calls or waiting weeks to be seen. So stop putting off your doctor's appointments and get the care you need. Go to ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA. ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA. All right. So the Clippers, thank you for making Locked On Clippers your first listen of the day. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. If you haven't already, go check out our new Everydayer Club. It gives you access to an ad-free audio feed for Locked On Clips, compatible with Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and every other major podcast app. It also gives you an invite to the members-only Locked On Everydayer Club Discord server, which includes a group chat just for listeners of this show. Go to lockedonclippers.supercast.com or tap the link in the show notes to learn more. All right, Clipper Nation, we have made it 10 wins out of our last 12. We're playing some of the best basketball of the season, and a lot of it comes down to our main men. But James Harden's kind of been doing it all year. Kawhi Leonard, he has the 20-plus point game streak, but really for me, these 12 to 15 games, he has just been awesome. And it is starting to pay dividends in large ways for us in the win column. Now, let's talk about the other guys. Starting with part of the reason why we were really off in the first half. The man has shot really, really well from the field this year and from three. But he had a nightmare shooting night on his own bobblehead night, which was a sick bobblehead, by the way. Kris Dunn is who I'm talking about. He shot 38% from three going into this game. And now because he shot 0 for 6 from three in this one, and those were all his shots, and they were totally daring him to shoot, he's now shooting 36% on the season. which I said he's going to regress. I don't think 38% from three is going to last. His last 10 games, he's shooting 29% from three. So it's starting to happen. Now, I said if Kris Dunn can shoot 36% or higher, that would be ideal. That'd be really good for him. I don't know if he's going to stay at that level. He's just not a great shooter at the NBA level. But if I'm his coach, I'm still telling him to keep shooting because he's still shooting 36% on the season. And before this last game, he was literally shooting 38%. It's just that 0 for 6 can really change your percentage when you haven't shot that many threes and we're still not halfway through the season. So, that's relevant. But that was part of the reason we were ice cold. Kris Dunn, he couldn't make a shot. He couldn't make a shot at all. So he was 0 for 6 from downtown and 0 for 6 from the field. He had a donut and 2 boards and nothing of any other category. No steals, no blocks. It's very rare for him. He guarded LaMelo Ball, and LaMelo Ball had 25 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists on 11 for 24 shooting and 3 of 11 from 3. But I can't just put that stat line all down to Kris Dunn because I'm not seeing how many possessions he's guarding him versus someone else, all that good stuff. But John Collins, he's been on a tear lately. He was very quiet in this game. I thought his defense was okay. He had some good moments. He had some moments where he got blown by, but he was very quiet. 3 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover on 1 for 4 shooting and 1 for 2 from 3. He played 30 minutes. He did have the highest plus minus of any player on the court for either team with a plus 16, but I don't know. I thought he was okay. If you disagree with me and you thought Collins was better than I'm giving him credit for, please let me know in the comment section below. I noticed we're hedging more on the ball screens with Zoo because we're like John Collins at the back. He might be able to rotate. I still don't love the hedging on the ball screens unless it's a sniper shooter like Duncan Robinson or MPJ, which worked really well in the Pistons and the Nets game. But I'm not a huge fan of sending Zoo out there because I don't think our secondary rim protection is that good, even with John Collins being down there, truthfully. And then you've got, so between JC and KD, you got a grand total of 3 points by 2 starters, which isn't great. And then we should talk about Ivica Zubac. Very pedestrian. A couple times where I wish he could have done a better job contesting shots at the rim. A couple times where he did change some shots at the rim. He did do a good job rebounding, 11 rebounds, and didn't play the fourth quarter at all. We had Brook Lopez in, and then we just kind of let Brook Lopez ride because he wasn't playing badly towards the end because, he had hit 2 threes, not in the fourth, but 1 in the fourth, and it was his second of the game. So, third of the game. So we rode with him for the whole fourth and gave Zoo some rest. But it's not just giving Zoo some rest. It's partially because he's not looking that great. He's finishing around the rim a little bit. He shot 6 times and made 4 of them. But 6 times, we're not really feeding him in the post. I get it because Kawhi and James Harden are better options. And we want to give them the ball more, especially with the way Kawhi's shooting and playing lately. But when one of them is out, we should play through Zoo more. He's not shooting badly enough and playing badly enough to never get the ball in the post. Now, of course, granted, when Kris Dunn is out there with him, teams are going to double and try to force him to shoot. And that's a problem. And Zoo hasn't been the best at making reads out of double teams this season. But I still believe he's a better player than this. I don't think Ivica Zubac is going to reach his full potential with Kawhi and James Harden and Ty Lue. I just don't think it's going to happen. And it's partially on him. He doesn't look like he's standing out. And I know he just came back from an injury, but in no game since he's come back from injury do I think, he's been great. He's been awesome. I thought he played well against New York. Well, we lost. If your best performance is in a loss, I don't love that. He can be a lot better. But he was fine because we won. 9 points, 11 boards, 2 assists. Thankfully, he didn't turn the ball over much at all. He didn't turn the ball over at all. 0 turnovers. 4 for 6 from the field, 1 for 2 from the foul line in 27 minutes. He was okay. I think he got outplayed by Musa, who just was more lively. So our starters, 3 starters combined for 12 points. It's not great. Thankfully, we weren't playing a very good team. And then Nico, I don't think he was that good defensively. I talked about in the third quarter, he was bad. 7 points, but he made both his threes. I'll say that. Those were all his shots. And was 1 for 2 from the free throw line. So he ended with 7 points, 2 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals, 1 turnover in 22 minutes. I still think Nico is very solid in his role. He does his job. He's old. Brook Lopez, nice to see him knock down some threes. That was big coming off some of the games that we saw where he wasn't hitting. 9 points, 4 boards, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 turnover on 3 for 6 shooting, and all his shots were threes. He did a pretty good job contesting some shots at the rim too in the second half. So I'd say all things considered, pretty solid game for Brook. Kobe Sanders, he's been in a little bit of a slump since that 20-point game against the Warriors. He shot 3 for 10 in this game and 2 for 7 from downtown, finished with 8 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and had a big dunk, though, to put us up 112-101 and cap off a 13-1 run that effectively ended the game. But coming up, I'm going to be talking about the last of the players in the rotation that I haven't mentioned, and it was a huge fourth quarter performance by him. Of course, I'm speaking about our very own Jordan Miller. Going to be talking about him coming up.
I carry a lot of responsibility in my household. If something happened to me, there would be serious consequences. We have a mortgage. We got tuition. We got everyday bills. Those aren't going anywhere if something happens to me. And I know that's an overwhelming feeling, but I'm taking steps to protect my family by getting life insurance through Ethos. Ethos makes getting life insurance fast, easy, and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. There's no medical exam. You just answer a few simple health questions. You can get up to $3 million in coverage. Some policies are as low as $30 a month. And as of March 2025, Business Insider named Ethos the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider. Ethos has 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot with over 3,000 reviews. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos now by going to ethos.com/lockdownnba. In as little as 10 minutes, you can get your free quote and up to $3 million in coverage at ethos.com/lockdownnba. That's ethos.com/lockdownnba. Ethos.com/lockdownnba. Application times and rates may vary.
All right. So the Clippers winning 117-109 over the Charlotte Hornets. We got outscored 26-24 in the first, but we clamped down in the second and outscored the Hornets 21-17 in the second to take a 45-43 lead into the halftime break. Obviously, as I mentioned, we broke even in the third at 41 because our defense wasn't good, but Kawhi and James turned up. Then in the fourth quarter, we just kind of finished the job. 31-25, outscored them in that one. Jordan Miller had a huge fourth quarter with 10 points. Knocked down an open three, then cut to the basket for a dunk, then knocked down a three to beat the shot clock buzzer. And I think he had, either a putback. I think he had a putback after that and finished with 14 points in the game, but 10 points in the fourth quarter, which was absolutely huge for us because we were in desperate need of someone to just give us a little bit of a lift. He had 14 points in the game, was our third leading scorer after James and Kawhi. Got a rebound, 2 assists, did not turn the ball over, and was 6 for 11 from the field and 2 for 6 from downtown. I mean, you absolutely love to see that Jordan Miller's had a couple of games where, he's put the ball in the basket and consistently put the ball in the basket. 14 in this one, 9 in the Pistons game, 21 in the Brooklyn game. So in the last 3 games, he has scored a total of 44 points. You absolutely love to see that, which is what, like 14 point something? Yeah, like 14 point something. So basically you could round it up to 15. So that's great, man. It's absolutely awesome to see that. If we could get 10 points a game from Jordan Miller, it's huge. Because we lack bench scoring right now, especially with all the injuries that we've had this year. And, of course, DJ's out, and Bogey's not been a factor this year. And, of course, Beal's been a flop, and then Chris Paul got kicked off the team. So, anything we can get from these bench guys helps. And then, of course, seeing the young guys thrive and seeing Jordan Miller just consistently not just be able to score, getting to the basket, which we've seen so much in Summer League and preseason and G League and stuff, seeing him knock down that open 3-ball consistently. I think that's huge. Absolutely huge. He didn't actually, he shot 2 for 6 in this game, so not great. But for the month of January, he's shooting 44% from downtown. And all the games that he shot a 3 were real minutes and real rotation minutes against real teams. So I hope he can keep it up, because if he can shoot 40% from 3, there is absolutely a place for him, not just in the rotation, in the NBA. So I'm always rooting for Jordan Miller. He's a great dude. Obviously, we drafted him, so I'm always rooting for him. It was great to see that. And right now, we're playing some damn good hoops. 11 out of the last 13 games have been wins. We're 16-23. We have our next game against the Washington Wizards, who are one of the worst teams in the NBA. I don't think we're going to be seeing Trae Young in that game. Imagine if it's Trae Young's first game. I went to Kyrie Irving's first game as a Mav. Also, that vlog is on Dime Dropper and has like no views. That was a down year, 2023 in the beginning for views. It wasn't until we got Westbrook that my view count started going up. But Kyrie Irving's first game as a Mav, I took a vlog of it. It's like one of my, like, has like 300 views. So this could be Trae Young's first game as a Washington Wizard. Honestly, hope it would be nice if it is his first game and we win. But I was like, I don't care if he plays or not, because if he plays, it makes things a little more dangerous. His first game, you know what I'm saying? A lot of adrenaline. But we should win that game, regardless of if it's Trae Young's first game with the Wizards or not. And that would then make us 17-23, which is starting to look more respectable. 12 out of the last 14 games would be wins. So that would be absolutely huge for us. And if we look at the standings right now, we are right behind the Memphis Grizzlies. One game behind them with for the 10th spot. So we're damn sure going to make the play-in. I can promise you we're going to make the play-in at least. So you never know. A lot of time left. I think we'll get that 10 seed, especially with all the Ja Morant rumors of him getting traded. They don't have enough half-court offense. We still have Kawhi Leonard and James Harden. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Dime Dropper Pod. Subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for even more LA Clipper, LA Sports, and NBA content. And Locked On Clippers is free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell to get to 8,000 subscribers before the end of January. And, of course, you can listen wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to sign up for the Everydayer Club as well. The age-old proverb continues, go Clippers.